Hey, what's up? My name's AJ, and welcome to the first episode of the Metalhead Mindset. Just a quick introduction. My name's AJ. I am a heavy metal musician. I have this other project called Fire from Heaven. I'm kind of creating this for my fans, but I'm also creating this for anyone else who would like to talk about the Metalhead Mindset. And it's really something that it's just an idea I had to do a sort of metal motivation without taking the name metal motivation because metal motivation has been a massive influence in my life. And the idea is I'm going to take quotes from other bands' songs. This may become an interview show at some point. I don't know. But I just had the idea, metalhead mindset, and I'll see where it goes. So um, I'm going to take, I'm going to talk about an idea from one of my songs, and it's really just kind of taking it. If I talk about other band songs, I'm just going to be talking about the ideas that I pull from it. I'm not going to be talking about what the original artist meant. I'm just going to be talking about the sort of mindset, like the sort of motivating ideas and mindset we can pull from different band songs and stuff like that. So I plan on doing that in the future, but I figured I'd start with one of my own songs, and we'll see how it goes. So, metalhead mindset, and essentially, metalhead mindset is just it may not be what people might think it is. It's just an idea I'm putting out there and trying to just give like a to do something motivating and positive with heavy metal. Not that it's not motivating and positive, but just some sort of the attitude or like a motivating attitude we can pull from metal bands and things we can learn from them. I feel like a lot of times we look at things like that and we just enjoy them, and there's nothing wrong with that. But with a lot of things I look at, I'm just like, what are the ideas here I could pull from it, whether the original artist meant it or not. Sometimes that can be good or bad. Obviously, if it's not good, then I'm not gonna try and pull any ideas from it. Like some metal bands just scream the f bomb all the time and don't really write. But then there are other bands who really are very artistic in their writing, and a lot of them have things that they're passionate about, that they want to talk about in their songs and stuff. So one of them being me. So I'm going to share one of the songs from my latest album called Hidden Reflections. If you want to know more about my project Fire from Heaven, you can check it out at metalfirefromheaven.com. All links to my different band socials and stuff will be there. But so this song is called "The Folly of Conventional Wisdom" from my album Hidden Reflections. And big thing, with heavy metal is we're always like pointing out the things we see wrong in society a lot of times, right? That's kind of like a big thing with heavy metal. It's like some bands get really, really political. I try not to. But I think just because of how my alarm's about to go off. How heavy metal has been so against the grain of society for such a long time is that we just see things differently because we have an attitude of like rebellion against society because we see the flaws in it, and the people up top who are just using it for their own gain most of the time, and how screwed up it is basically. So that's very much a big part in heavy metal, is that sort of attitude of like, screw the man, that kind of thing. But the idea here is, I'm trying to actually make a sort of philosophical argument, and it's just saying that a lot of things that are commonplace and conventional wisdom actually turn out to be conventional folly, which is the opposite of wisdom. And it's an intentional turning away from knowledge and wisdom. Folly is like, it's not stupidity. It's someone who's very smart and wise. Like a fool is someone smart and wise, but they're not wise. Someone who's very knowledgeable and smart, but they intentionally turn away from the truth because they don't like it. That's folly. So I'm gonna read a few lines here. I don't think I'll go through like the whole song, but like I'll read the intro line because that kind of gives an introduction to what the song's talking about. This is a place where deadly lies are commonplace, and the truth is too unbearable to face. Conventional wisdom don't ask questions. The perfect system doesn't need changing. Think inside their box. You'll be successful. Creative thinking is thrown out the door. The folly of conventional wisdom. So, just sharing my metalhead attitude there of how screwed up the system is, and that just the way we're taught, the way we're raised, they're trying to just indoctrinate us into a certain way of thinking. In our schools, they're not teaching, they're telling us what to believe. They're not teaching us how to think. They're teaching us what to believe and how to live. They're not teaching us like how. They're teaching us more of like what. They're trying to give us all of their viewpoints and everything, from literally from like preschool, preschool to college. It's always someone trying to tell you what to think, and teachers who actually teach you how to think on your own is very rare. That's why there's so much conventional folly that's called wisdom, because no one's taught to think, no one's taught to question. They're just taught to, here, take this, spoon-fed lies. They're not taught how to think and question those things. And then we grow up with people who have to be spoon-fed everything, and they can't learn how to understand things on their own. It's a big problem. So then the next line is vipers exploiting the weak, hiding in the grass, biting at my ankles. Economic exploitation, an ancient system, manipulate the weak. So this is actually like, when I wrote this, I was actually reading a book based on like, it was kind of like a economics book, talking about how systems worked like ancient history during like Bible times and stuff like that. And it was still the same way. Like, for example, in Israel, like it was a lot of times the religious leaders at the top who were manipulating the system, manipulating, what was originally meant to be a good thing, where people are giving to the temple in that time, and it was a biblical thing like tithing and stuff like that, giving the first fruits of your labor to God. It was just like, and it was an idea of like all of that went towards the society. It went towards like people in poverty, it went towards people struggling, and it went towards like good things. But then they twisted the system to where it was making them tons of money. And you see that today. You see people manipulating and twisting the system all the way up at the top, and it's just screwed up, man. Screwed up. Not right. So, I'm trying to decide if I should go through the whole song, just kind of a couple of lines. That's kind of what I just talked about as a main line I talk about a couple of times. It's sort of like the chorus, if you could call it a chorus. I don't really do choruses because I can't sing. So here's another line. I think it's like one of the final verses. I won't follow conventional wisdom. a system set in place to break me and make me behave. To a society that hates creative and free thinking, I say, keep your wretched chains and let your fear reign. As for me, I'll live and die a free man, unchained. Freedom! No, I'm just kidding. So, all of it's kind of like, in a sense, saying the same thing over and over, with a lot of how a lot of songs are. That it's just screwed up, and I'm not going to be a part of it. It's like a proclamation. I'm not going to be a part of it. And this is like a big part of like the metalhead mindset. It's seeing beyond fabrication, the fabricated lies, man. I would sound like a hippie. There's just a lot of things that need to be better. It's just a messed up system. And in any case where you have man not being held accountable, I think that's a big thing. Accountability is a big thing in the U.S. There's a lot of lack of accountability for stupid stuff. For leadership, leadership's not held accountable for the things they do. But if in the very rare case where we have someone who's actually getting some stuff done, they're usually like accused of doing things. But I know this whole time I've been talking about how screwed up the system is, and really like what the goal of this is not to say we need better leadership, we need a different president or something like that, because we literally saw the economy went from like this to down here just by a change of leadership. So that tells us something, right? Things need to change. The problem isn't who's at the top, The problem is us, Our leadership reflects our state. So we need to govern ourselves. We need to become self-governing. That's the only thing that's gonna like change things. Is until it changes from the bottom up, it's gonna be like this. We're just gonna have things so up and down and crazy with different leaders doing different things, and it's all just a game to them. If we want real change, we need to govern ourselves, because we could point at these problems all we want. It's not going to change anything, So with this song, I'm not just trying to point out the problem that a lot of people obviously see. I'm trying to completely challenge the mode of thinking. And, here at the end, I'm saying, like, I'm going to change the way I'm living, and I don't care what's going on here. I'm going to question things, and I'm going to change the way I'm living. So, the idea here is like the mindset, the ideas we can pull is that we need to change our thinking, change our mindset from, people at the top messing everything up to like, we can do something about this. We start changing our ways, we start changing ourselves, we start growing ourselves, we start, investing and growing in ourselves. That's what's going to change things. It's not going to be easy, but that's what's going to be the lasting change. Because again, the top-down system, it's just you secure a few seats at the top and it's over. They can completely reverse the economy. So that's just showing us that it's a flawed system. So we just ditch it. Start governing yourselves. That's what's going to change things. So that is what I'm going to end with. So thank you for joining me on the first episode of the Metalhead Mindset. And again, if you want to check out more of what I do, essentially, if you go to my website, metalfirefromheaven.com, I have a whole like network of podcasts I do, because some of them are sort of like things I just did as a series that are up for you to listen to. Some are like I'm trying to decide whether they're gonna be continuing or not, but there are other stuff you can listen to that I do. Plus the metal music. I have 5 albums, bro. Working on a 6th. So check that out. That's kind of my main hub, and this is just a branch of it. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you later.